One of our Marcus graduates, Ben Milgrom, will share a Devar Torah.
Some of my favorite childhood memories are running through the halls of Beth Am with my brothers and friends on Shabbat mornings while our parents sat in services. Mom and Dad, isn't this what you always dreamed of, that my favorite childhood memories would take place at Shul? I remember vividly the day we proudly paraded the Beth Am Torahs to this very building as our two congregations became one. On that day, every single person in the parade had a role in joining our communities. Over the 4.5-mile walk, we all took turns carrying the Torah. Everyone's contribution was essential. In Parshat Naso, we read about the Levites, my own ancestral tribe, who were each given a role in transporting the Mishkan, the portable sanctuary, through the desert. As part of the Marcus leadership cohort, we are like today's Levites, entrusted with helping to carry this congregation into its future. But just like in the wilderness, we cannot do it alone. Every person in this community plays a critical role in carrying our people forward. Something I've come to understand through Marcus is the difference between being part of a community and truly dwelling in it. In Hebrew, the word Mishkan comes from the root leshaken, to dwell. When God commands the Israelites to build the Mishkan, God says, V'shechanti betocham, I will dwell among them, not in the building, but among the people. That's what it means to be in community, not just having your name on a membership list, but creating space for others, showing up, and investing in the people around you. To dwell in community means to be present with intention. It means building relationships, honoring each other's stories, and doing the work of connection. I learned that in our art session with Scott Simon, where we weren't just sitting next to each other, we were creating something together, and in doing so, we were dwelling in community. Our congregation is just one piece of the puzzle of the Jewish community. There's so much more to Jewish community than synagogues, and each of those pieces must come together to help us flourish. Jewish community doesn't just happen, it must be built. It's built on the backs of our ancestors, those who carried the Mishkan in ancient times, and those who carried the Torahs from Beth Am to Bnei Yeshurun. It's built on each and every one of us showing up and being involved, not just here at Bnei Yeshurun, but in our community. It's built on us standing up in the face of Jew hatred and anti-Zionism. It's built on us making Jewish families and teaching our children our customs and traditions. It's built on my mom's challah and my dad's Torah lessons. It's built on religious practices and rituals, and so much more. One of my favorite rituals happens every week at our family's Shabbat dinner. My dad gives me, my brothers, and our wives the priestly blessing. It's not a collective blessing. We each get our own. Parshat Naso is the first time we encounter the priestly blessing in the Torah. Each week, when I receive this blessing from my dad, it reminds me that I am a part of a Jewish family, a part of the Jewish people. The priestly blessing is said at many key life cycle events, like when a baby boy enters into a covenant with God at his Brit Milah, or when parents proudly bless their child at a B'nai Mitzvah. I will never forget being wrapped in my grandpa's talit at my wedding and getting the priestly blessing from Rabbi Hal. These big moments, a bris, a bar mitzvah, a wedding, are powerful times when we affirm our connection to God and to the Jewish people. But the small moments, like receiving a blessing at Shabbat dinner, are just as important. They are our weekly reminders that we are a part of something greater. We all need to find our own Shabbat blessing moments in our lives, moments to reaffirm our place in the Jewish story. For some, it may be taking on leadership, like we have in this cohort. For others, it may be lighting Shabbat candles, inviting friends over for a holiday meal, or volunteering in the community. But for all of us, it must include finding moments of Jewish joy and sharing them. When we do that, we help ensure the legacy of our people continues to thrive. It is my hope that as we read Parshat Naso, we all recognize the essential roles that each one of us has in carrying forward the Jewish people. I hope that we all do it with kavod, respect, kavanah, spiritual intentionality, and ge'ah, great pride. May the blessing of the priests be one that we, too, offer with our words, our intentions, and our actions. May God turn his face towards all of us, all of Israel, and grant us peace. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Ben, for your...
The rabbis say you can't dance at two weddings, but today we're celebrating first our confirmation, and now we shift to celebrating our Marcus Institute graduates. And our Marcus graduates have out of the 11 graduates that have undergone and taken part in our 18-month leadership seminar, they've selected 2 graduates to be the class speakers. And we call up Steve Chupnick and Meryl Brown. Let's go to talk right into the mic. You got to switch on and off.
Yeah.
No, you got to put the mic right in front of you.
When I first started to write this, I thought about the past year and a half and all that we've been able to take in, everything we've learned, everything we've gained. And yet, there is still much to discover. Yes, the Marcus Leadership Institute is exactly that, a leadership course. We were all brought together to better the synagogue, the community, the congregants, but probably most importantly, better ourselves. But it's a lot more. We came together, many of us either not knowing each other or walking past a face here and there at Shabbat services or high holidays. Over these past 18 months, we have gotten to know so much about one another, and this has made us all better leaders for the synagogue. One of our first classes was looking at finding our strengths. After an online survey, we identified our individual personality and leadership qualities. Not surprisingly, there were some that were identical and others completely the opposite. The point of this session was to look for how you can work with all the different types of people who lead a community, with everyone's input, with everyone's thoughts. Because me alone, Meryl alone, and anyone, we can't lead a team alone. That's what we are. We were a team, and we are a team. Another session that stood out was the future of conservative Judaism, where we are headed as a Jewish community, stuck in the middle between Orthodox and Reform, that sticky slope, teetering the line, keeping the balance of observance. We heard from one of Rabbi Jacob's mentors, Dr. Ron Wolfson from American Jewish University. His question on how our synagogue coffee tasted still resonates, but now we can give him an answer. It tastes okay. In all seriousness, we really have to ask ourselves, where is the conservative movement going, and what do we have to do to protect and preserve and ensure that we thrive and carry it forward and make sure that it flourishes?
When I was asked to join the 2024-2025 Marcus cohort, my connection to B'nai Yeshurun mainly consisted of coming to shul every Shabbat and on holidays with my husband Benji and our 3 children. After October 7th, like many of you, I imagine, I was looking to deepen our established connections to our Jewish spaces and promised myself the answer would be yes to being asked to participate in anything Jewish. Being asked to join this cohort was a gift, and I'm so grateful to have been given the opportunity. Some other meeting highlights that Steve didn't mention yet was a learning session in Rabbi Hal Sukkah, a coaching session led by Front Door Consulting co-founder Beth Rosenberg on leadership, meeting with our shul's executive director, Jay Ross, and President Scott Matazar to discuss the future of our synagogue. We had an engaging Shabbat dinner and discussion with author, lawyer, and rabbi Dan Horowitz. Our final 2 meetings were perhaps the pinnacle of our time together, an evening learning about our greater Jewish Cleveland community and leadership directly from Steve Hoffman and Erica Rudin-Luria, and lastly, our most recent session tied it all together with a late-night art session with Scott Simon. Like I said, what a gift this was to all of us to deepen our connections and understanding of what this is all about. Participating in Marcus has encouraged me to step up and help co-found the Chesed Kindness crew along with my friend Lauren Fryman. I look forward to seeing how participating in the Marcus cohort inspires my fellow Marcus graduates to take on leadership roles to help B'nai Yeshurun be the best it can be.
It is up to us, young leaders in this community, to step up and protect it. Like we said earlier, it's not going to happen overnight, and there's still so much to do to preserve not only the conservative Judaism movement, but the culture at B'nai Yeshurun. To give a small example, I started ushering for the high holidays a few years ago because I asked if I could help out. It's just a simple conversation. That led to becoming a weekly Shabbat usher. It was a simple ask. I wanted to know more, and I wanted to do more. This Marcus cohort course pushed me to want to do more for our synagogue, and I'm honored now to be serving as a new board member for the shul, along with my fellow Marcus leader, Judy Borgen. We're all sitting here today, watching on Zoom or the live stream, because we love this community and want to preserve and protect it. Ben, you did a great job in talking about Nassau, but it is about leadership. It's about the Kohanim and the Levites. Throughout these last 18 months, we have begun our journey as leaders in this synagogue, for our B'nai Yeshurun family, and for all of us. But before we end, we cannot leave without thanking the Marcus family for providing this incredible program, To the many people who helped put this together, including the entire clergy team, Shani Cadis for organizing all of our meetings, Lisa Rhodes who provided such awesome dinners, and thank you to the many guest speakers who took their time to come to meet with us or join over Zoom. But most of all, thank you to all of you for entrusting us with helping to better our community today and for years to come. Am Yisrael Chai, and Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Meryl and Steve. Today is a very special day for our congregation as we celebrate confirmation and our Marcus graduation. And though they may be different in age and different in life experience, both our 10th graders and our emerging leaders in Marcus have a unifying theme. That's stepping up to take on the leadership mantle voluntarily, dedicating precious time, investing in yourself and in our synagogue by working together as a group. Our Parsha Naso has another teaching, what I would call the last leadership case or role-playing exercise for our Marcus graduates and confirmants. The largest section of our Torah reading in the Parsha, more than 70 verses, is the presentation of gifts by the Nisi'im, the leaders of each of the 12 tribes. They brought them for the completion of the Mishkan, the desert sanctuary, which Ben spoke about. The Torah lists in great detail the entire list of the numerous gifts that each leader offered. What's striking about the Parsha and the section is that every single of the 12 leaders brought exactly the same set of gifts. The Torah is famous for being very brief with its words, but nevertheless, this Parsha details all the gifts, line by line, item by item, that was given. So the question is, with nothing new added, why list all 12 sets of gifts? Why repeat? And why did each of the tribes give the exact same gift? Here's a few answers. The rabbis talk about answers that I think speak to our Marcus graduates, about the leadership skills that we focused on during our sessions together over a year and a half. So why identical gifts? The Chafetz Chaim explains that the tribal leaders actually did not coordinate their gifts in advance. When the tribe of Judah, the first tribe to bring forth offerings, brought their big basket of offerings, you would think then the next leader that would step forward in a competitive way would try to one-up the leader, bring something a little bit better and a little bit more, and then so on and so on, with each leader leading up to the 12th being the grandest. But that's not what happened. When the second tribal leader offered the same identical gift as the first tribe, it set a pattern and a leadership goal for all: unity. The second leader wasn't focused on how they could be better, but rather whether the gift was worthy and how to follow the steps that were laid out before them. There's a second way to read the identical offerings, and that, even though the Torah doesn't tell us, perhaps each of the 12 leaders met prior. They collaborated. Maybe they disagreed. Maybe they had a few long-term discussions, but they reached consensus. A unified approach was decided. With each leader presenting the identical offering, each voice was heard, and then it was heard in harmony and in sync. Both of these identify the critical leadership themes that we talked about during our Marcus sessions: mission, alignment, and unity of purpose. Ramban Nachmanides presents two other reasons. The first is that the Torah was careful to give proper respect to each of the 12 tribes and each of the 12 leaders that sit at the leadership table. Despite nothing new being added, each leader was essential and was given their own time to present their offerings. When a group of leaders meet, it's important to honor each participant, to give them the opportunity to speak, to share their voice, share what they bring to the table, even if it is similar to others. And here's a second answer by Nachmanides. It suggests that the leaders did not, in fact, bring identical offerings, even though that's what the Torah says. Even though the content of their offerings were the same, the essence of their gifts were different. Each leader brought an offering with unique meaning and intent kavanah, as Ben spoke about, representing the unique mission of each particular tribe. In reality, no two offerings were alike. The experiences and the feelings behind them were different. Each of our Marcus graduates came to our cohort with their own intention, their own experiences, their own approaches to Judaism, to synagogue and community and leadership, and they represent different constituencies in our 900 and family synagogue. In truth, just as the leaders of the tribes, where each gift was different, each leader was special, the same is true for Marcus. In our sessions, when we looked deeper into leadership, engaged with each other, learned about how other leaders work and how to collaborate and work together, how to understand someone else's motivations and where they come from, we appreciate the unique contributions of each of our 11 Marcus graduates. Mazel tov to our graduates for your participation, for your time, for giving yourselves for these last 18 months. To all of our presenters, to our Marcus leadership chairs, Abby Levin, Kimberly Levin, to our lead staff, Shani Kadis. Thank you to the three of you for guiding and coordinating this program from our pre-meetings more than 2 years ago, to the nominations, to planning each event and today's graduation, and finally, a thank you to our Marcus family, to Herb and Cookie, to Marty, and to Lois of blessed memory, and your children, for investing in our synagogue's future and establishing an endowment fund years ago in your parents' memory for Edna and Nat Marcus. Over the years, our Marcus graduates have joined our Board of Trustees, chaired committees and initiatives, joined our officer corps, and served as presidents. As you heard, the Leadership Institute doesn't limit involvement within our synagogue walls. Our Marcus graduates have taken leadership skills all throughout our community. Lastly, I've enjoyed the opportunity to get to know each of our graduates even better over the last year and a half, and I'm very excited for the future of our synagogue. I look forward to working together for many years with each of you. Excited for not only what you'll contribute to our congregation, but you'll get more engaged and involved, and you'll get others more engaged and involved. We've seen the growth of your leadership selves come out individually and through collaboration. We appreciate your different strengths and what each of you brings to the table to conquer opportunities and challenges, to the needs that you each identified in our congregation, and your ideas how to step up more and to help us. Our synagogue is in a very wonderful place, and with our Marcus leaders, we're going to reach new heights. Thank you so much. We can't wait to see what you do next, perhaps even a synagogue president. Shabbat Shalom. We're going to rise now as a congregation and mark this moment for our Marcus graduates. Cantor's going to lead us in singing the Shehechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Shehechianu
v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh
Amen. As you'll be seated, we're going to ask each of our Marcus graduates to come forward and for Abby Levin to help in giving our gifts to our Marcus fellows. Come on up. You can all just stand here. It's okay.
Mazal tov to everyone. We'll start with Judy Borgen. and Meryl Kramer Brown. Stephen Chupnick. Joel Dockner. Aaron Gross. Erica Hirsch. Alex Cadis. Kelly Kitsis. Ben Milgrom. Jessica Miller. Andrew Spott.
It's our honor to present our Marcus graduating class. Standing here on the bima in this most sacred room in our congregation, this most sacred place, the commitment that you made these last 18 months, the pledge that you make not only to yourself, to this community, to God and Torah, we hope that you hold it dear. We say that we have to grasp onto the Torah and hold it tight to us. We can't wait to see what you do for our congregations, what you do for your families. May you go from strength to strength and lead us forward to the future. Mazel tov.